That is good pineapple. Okay. Let's do this. How's it going, people? I hope you're alright. This is diary entry number 3 of the new season. So in this one, the purpose of this one is I'm going to document the reason why I was in Cardiff for a week. Well, 4 days, but I'm making it as a memory point, really, you know, as a point of, like, marking it as a point where I can look back and say, that point in August 2022 was when we moved on to the next stage, you know what I mean? It's when we're accelerated into the next phase, if you want to call it that. So that's the reason why we're making this video, this diary entry. So yeah, and just to see how life changes from this point. So let's do this. So first of all, this is, I think, the first video I've made since I did the last one, where the obvious difference is there's nothing to stroke anymore. This is the first video where I don't have my beard anymore. I've tried to, like, edge this up a bit and just tidy it up because it comes to about there, I think. This is about as long as I like it. It gets really, like, curly and weird down here after this stage, so at some point this week it's gonna come off and then we'll start again. So I don't like it barefaced. If I remember, I'll put a picture up here to show you what it was like when it all came off. I like a bit of stubble. This isn't really stubble, this is like starting to become more beard-esque because it's getting longer. So it'll come off at some point this week, and we'll just keep doing that. Keep doing that when it gets to this stage, buzz it off, start again. I don't think I'll have a full-length beard for a long time now, to be honest with you. Maybe when I'm older, but because I can't have one at work, I can't have one, at least for the duration that I'm at this job. So whether that's like 3 years, 5 years, longer, it's this or nothing. So I probably won't have you know, because it was like down here somewhere, I probably won't have a full-length beard again for a long time. But anyway, sidetracking there. So what was I actually in Cardiff for? I went to Cardiff because one of the visiting pastors asked me he asked me to go. You know, he said we're doing a conference / mini festival for 2 weeks called Arise UK in Wales, Cardiff. And I couldn't tell you when it was. Was it last year? Or really this year? I was discussing with him that, you know, I'm a budding sound engineer, if you will. You know, I'm learning. I don't know very much at the moment, as was evident when I went to Cardiff, which we'll get onto in a moment. But it's like, oh, you should contact our sound guy and you should come down. You know, you should come down and help him with stuff. So I was like, yeah, no worries, because the conference is free. You know, it was they put it on like rugby fields. It was 2 really big, like, if you can imagine a circus tent, the main tent was a big massive circus tent, and the gear that they had in there, honestly, as somebody who likes expensive gear when it comes to sound, I was drooling when I walked in. You know, the desk was beautiful. They were running the whole light system just on a Mac, like a dedicated Mac just to run the lights. Oh, mate, if I had an endless shopping list with an endless budget. So yeah, 2 massive circus tents and all this gear, and it was stunning. Honestly, it truly was. So anyway, I got in contact. He gave me the details of their sound engineer, Douglas. I got in contact with him and arranged to go down for 3 days. I was there for 3 days because I left on the Tuesday after work, but it was late when I got there, and then I left on the Saturday morning. So I was at the actual event for 3 full days, and it was intense. Definitely intense in every sense of the word, you know. some of the speakers they had on was like, you kind of, okay. Do you know what I mean? All good stuff, but in that setting, when you're not really used to that intensity, when you know you hear about stuff like that, you know, real oh, what's the word I can use? I don't even think energetic does it justice. Powerful, real powerful preachers, man. And you kind of sit there and you're like, okay. Do you know what I mean? But it was like, it was so intense. I'm still coming down from it now. It's Monday. Came back on Saturday. But so yeah, Wednesday got there. I was like, we're gonna like get hands-on with the desk and hands-on with the sound. And you know, Douglas is very, very knowledgeable. If you're watching this, Douglas, I know you can teach me a lot, but he was throwing words at me and I'm like, I ain't got a clue, because I run our sound currently on an iPad, and it's a lot simpler because, you know, I'm going off my ears and what sounds good at the moment, and I'm just like moving levels and just doing this, that and the other, what I know, you know, and just kind of learning on the job, as it were, and learning as I'm going. Whereas he knows so much, and everything he knows is self-taught, so he's going, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and then we'll put this on bus 5 or whatever, and then we're gonna do the gains for this. And I'm like, you know, there was other terms, I can't remember them, but he was just chucking them out there like I was the same level as him, and I was like, look, I have no clue what you're talking about. He's like, okay. I said, you're going to have to explain me like I'm 5, you know what I mean? You're just gonna have to break it all down for me and tell me what you mean, because I know nothing. So it was a real humbling moment on Wednesday when I was like, he knows, you know, he's up here and I'm like down here. He knows so much more than I do. And I was like a bit overwhelmed, you know, so I was kind of sat there taking it all in on Wednesday, like I'm sat behind their desk, you know, because he let me have a play with it. And I'm sat there looking at it and I'm like, I have a picture of it, I'll put a picture of it here. And I'm like, what on earth is all of this? What on earth is all of this? So that was Wednesday, and then Thursday I kind of like took a step away from like the media booth in the middle, where I was sat on Wednesday, and I was like, I'm not even, you know, I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there on Thursday. I was like, I'm just gonna take it in from, you know, from the aisles, if you will, the outside, and that felt like the right thing to do. And then on the Friday, I was like, right, we're gonna, you know, I said to him on the Friday afternoon, I said, when you settle the sound for the evening, because it was like a full day thing, and there was different bands, so they had a different band in the evening on Friday, and I said, when you set the sound up for this band, can you run through everything with me, and can you tell me what you're doing, and can you tell me what everything means? So he's like, yeah, we'll do it together, that's sweet. So I was like, buzzing. So then it came to the Friday, and I was like, right, let's get this done now. And it felt good, you know, because I was just like, what we're doing, and he's like, we're doing this, we're doing that. And he's like, do you know how to link the channels? And I'm like, no, because with ours is because it's much simpler. You plug, say you want to put the guitar on channel 5, you plug the cable in channel 5, and then you look at the computer, or you look at the iPad and you go, name, guitar, and it's on channel 5. But on their desk, it was like he had to push a button to link it to the desk, you know, the actual physical desk with the inputs, because it was like a digital / analog desk, whereas ours is just full digital. And he's like, do you know how to link? And I'm like, no. So he showed me how to link, and I'm like, this is a much more complex way of doing what I know how to do. But he taught me how to do it, and then I managed to do it, and I'm like, I'm learning. So that was good, because, you know, eventually I got the hang of it. So then we set the sound up on Friday, and it was good. It was good, everything sounded good. You know, we kind of did it between us, because their whole, I'll put the link to the YouTube channel underneath if you want to go and see the kind of stuff that was going on. But they had a camera guy right down near the front on a platform. They had a camera, like a handheld camera that they were walking around with, but there was only 2 people, one of them including Douglas, which was the sound guy too, running 2 cameras. So when one guy was sat on the big one, Douglas was walking around with a handheld, and then you've got photographers. So he was like running about in between cameras whilst helping me do the sound, and he's like trying to leave me to do the sound so that I can make it easier for him, you know. So there was a lot going on, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But that was the first time that I've been involved with like any outside sound, if you know what I mean. First time really getting my hands on other people's equipment. And I think that's why it was overwhelming, because I'm used to my iPad and running everything from the iPad and the computer, whereas they weren't doing that. And I had no clue about their system. So I was like faced with this desk, and I'm like, okay, what is all of this? Because obviously ours is a digital desk, which is, it runs on a computer. There's no physical desk, there's no physical dials, it's all digital. And theirs is a cross between a digital and an analog. So you've got a myriad of buttons and knobs and sliders, and it's like, I'm not used to this. So it was a very humbling experience, to be honest. But it was good because it taught me a lot, and you know, I took a lot away from it that I can use moving forward to help me progress in my own journey now. And you know, it really made me sit up and think, look, I've not been learning enough, I've not been applying myself enough. So it's given me the drive to really push on and move forward. So that's what I was in Cardiff for 3 days. So what did I learn while I was there? I've kind of already covered this in the previous bit, but like I say, their sound and media guy, Douglas, very knowledgeable. He was asking me questions. He's like, do you know what this is? And I'm like, no. And he's like, all right, so basically this is what this does, this is why you use it, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then he was saying things, you know, when it comes to EQing can be so complex if you don't know what you're doing. In simple terms, what I know, I could be wrong, but from what I know, EQing a sound is like refining the sound frequencies and finding out what frequencies different instruments and, you know, vocals work best on, and tweaking the EQ so you get the cleanest sound you can. So he's like, okay, so drums run on 5,000 whatever, or vocal mics run on 3,000, between 3,000 and 7,000, blah blah blah. You know, that's just an example, that's not actually what they run on. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I never knew that, because my experience from EQing is just learning by touching. You know, that's kind of how I learn sometimes. It's like, just mess with it and see what works. But if I want to be the sound engineer that I want to be, and I want to learn, I'm going to have to learn this stuff. So it was really good that he was teaching me all about EQ and what kind of frequencies things run on and what you're looking for when you're EQing drums or guitars. And it was like, I was like, you know, and the way he was describing it, everything just like made sense in my mind. It's like slotted everything into place. And I was like, oh, no way. Oh, that makes sense. Because it was running through things, it's like, does that make sense? And I'm like, it does actually. You know, the way you've described that does actually make sense. So thanks for telling me. So it was really good. It definitely won't be the last time that we do anything together. You know, we said that this isn't going to be the first and the last time this happens. I definitely see at least doing that again next year, maybe for a week next year rather than 3 days. But it's not, you know, this is just the beginning. This is why I'm so excited now, and I'm so fueled up to really learn more about our own system and about sound in general, EQing, effects, the way things work and the best way to run things. So it's definitely not the first time the last time I'll be doing this. It's only the beginning. which is why I'm so stoked about that. So I definitely learned a lot to take away from it, and that's the reason I'm making this video, so that I can document it and say that on the 23rd of August to the 27th of August 2022 was the point that really showed me a glimpse of my future. Really, it's the only way I can describe it, because I said before I went that it was going to be an experience that would give me a glimpse of what my future looks like, because, you know, I was born to be a sound engineer. That's all I can, this is the only way I can describe it, really. It's in me, you know, music is within me. My ears were crafted to know how to get the perfect sound, and it's not a brag, it's the only way I can describe it, you know what I mean? So I know that my destiny and my journey in life is in sound and music. I knew going into this that this was a glimpse of what I could be doing in the future. So that's why I'm so excited now. I've come back from Cardiff, fueled up and ready to learn about sound and everything like that, and you know, because obviously I'm the one who runs our sound primarily at the moment, and so it's my responsibility to learn about our equipment, you know, it's my responsibility to learn about our sound and our desk and the best way that we can get the best sound. So, and I've not been doing that, I've just been going learning here, learning a bit there, you know, but now I'm really gonna like bang out my learning so that I know that desk inside out, and that I can just get it up on the iPad and be like, right, sound set up, you know, that's the goal anyway. But overall, it was an amazing and an intense experience. It's all I can describe it as. And if you watch the links, if you go to their channel, everything is titled, because they've been live streaming it all. It's been on for 2 weeks. You'll see what I mean by it being intense. So it has been an intense and an amazing and a learning experience, and I would do it again. So where do we go from here now? That is the question. I kind of explained it a little bit, but the plan is to take what I've learned from what Douglas has told me and showed me and apply it to our system. And I'm going to do a lot of learning, you know, a lot of YouTube tutorials, a lot of research into different things, taking notes, and then putting it into practice and just trying to see how the things progress, because the way they set their system up is so much better than how we've got ours set up at the moment. So the thing, so we did an event, I can't remember when it was fairly recently, a few months ago, and the generator that we were using kept dying, but because of that it like fried an amp. So we were running the system on 2 amps. We've only got 1 amp now because it fried the other one, and it's not the best setup to run things on 1 amp. So we're looking at replacing them. So I've come back from Cardiff with a load of notes. I'm like, we need to replace the amp we've got with 2 more new ones. We need to reset the desk at 0, set the gains, set the amp levels, go from there, blah blah blah, do all the EQ. So in my mind I've got a checklist. I've got a physical one as well. Well, in my mind I've got a checklist of what we need to do to our system. So I'm like, I'm really fired up and ready to do it, you know. I'm like, we need to do this, we need to do that. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, they had their gear was honestly, you could tell that they'd invested, is all I'm gonna say. And I've come back with a shopping list. So, but it's not a shopping list of wants. It's like for example, we had, what did the guy call it? I think Wade, the guy who was like, he called it the Britney mic, or no, Wayne on Sunday called it the Britney mic. And it's, you know, it's like the skin coloured ones that go over your ear and go down here. So like, say that's the mic, it looks like that. They had them. Whereas we've got a lapel, and the person who uses it doesn't always put it in the correct place. Sometimes it can be like off to the right, off to the left, too far down. and the sound quality, you know, the level on the desk is right at the top just to get a little bit through the speakers because they're not really positioned it correctly. Whereas these, you know, these microphones, you can't help but have them in the right position the whole time. So I've come back and I'm like, we need these. We need these for certain people. Put them on the ears and they can't do out, you know, we'll get a perfect level every time. And what else was there? There's a few other bits and bobs. It's, you know, listed like that. So I'm hoping that we can replace the amps soon, because I really want to get into the meat and potatoes of resetting the desk to 0 and resetting the gains and then setting them properly. But as of filming this video, I've got 3 days here and I'm away again in Cornwall, so it's gonna have to wait. But I'm just like, I want to do it now, you know. I want to just get the amps now, reset the decks now, reset the EQs now, because I'm just fueled up, ready to go. I'm just fueled up, ready to get this sound right, because I'm never happy with it. I'm never happy with it, because I know it can be better. That's the thing, you know. It's not, I'm not happy with it. It's like, because I know it can be better, I'm never happy with it. So Cardiff has inspired me and motivated me to crack on and to really get my head together with this sound, because I know I've not been doing it properly. You know, it's an open admission. I've not been applying myself properly, and I know I need to. So yeah, I'm just ready to go now. And also, my dad gave me another good idea. It's kind of like a networking opportunity with the local sound engineers, you know, just so that we can learn from each other and I can learn from them as well, because there's a lot more seasoned sound engineers in the area than me. I'm a baby. So he's come up with an idea and I really like it. So I have to plan that, I have to contact the people, I have to find out who the sound engineers in the area are, see if they're up for it, get a meeting going. Honestly, there's so many tabs open up here, and I'm trying to get them all down on my iPad so that I can visualize everything. But I'm going to make another video about like content that I want to make for my channel, the things that I've come up with that I want to do for my channel. And honestly, today I've just been like that on my iPad, just like getting it all down, because like I say, there's so much going on up here at the moment that the creativity is just like, I feel like it's going to fall out my ears in a minute because it's just bursting at the seams. And there's a course in Manchester. It's like a specialised sound school, and it's kind of like a university type thing. I've always wanted to go on it. I went to look around it years and years and years ago, and you know, the studio and the desk was, you know, it's like a spaceship setup. It was just massive, and it was like, I was like, you know, I was drooling. But you have to self-fund the course, and I don't have the kind of money to do that at the moment. So yeah, that coming back from Cardiff, I'm like, how can we make this course a reality? Because I don't want to sleep on it, you know what I mean? So it's like, how can we make the course a reality, learn about our system and how it works, learn about sound and EQing and all that lot properly, upgrade our system to some degree, you know, getting new parts and new amps, and then resetting the desk to 0 and going from there, and resetting EQs. And honestly, I have a list of things to do, and it's like I constantly add to it, it just never goes down. So the plan is to not waste any time. It's to remain focused, remain motivated, get things done, and just progress and grow, and use Cardiff as a platform to accelerate, you know. Because I was having a discussion, and I think it was with my mum, and she's like, don't let it get you down. I was like, no, I was not, you know. Just because I realised that I knew nothing wasn't me going, oh, I don't know nothing. It's like, okay, I don't know anything, you know. I've come here knowing nothing to a guy who knows so much, and I was like, let me absorb it, you know. I was like, let me absorb it. So now it's a springboard, just like, right, let's go now, you know. It's like stopping off at a petrol station and fueling up. I mean, these days they won't get you far, but that's, you know, minor details. But you know, you fuel yourself up and you go, don't you? So I've come back from Cardiff all fueled up, ready to go now. So that is the plan. That is the plan moving forward. So if you want to see this journey, if you want to see this growth journey, then feel free to subscribe. I made a video a while ago, and I think I said that, you know, I'm just going to upload as and when, and that is still the plan. I can't promise you regular content. I have regular content ideas, but we'll get around to that. But yeah, if you wanna see this growth journey and everything like that, because I'm going to document everything, then feel free to subscribe. You can also check out my social media if you want, but I'm in the process of overhauling that, because again, I've had millions of ideas up here about how to separate things and just revamp it, and you know, so the links to my current social media will be down below, but don't be surprised that if in the current few weeks to come that more will appear, and this, that and the other. So I have a massive idea for everything, so you just have to bear with me on that. I have a ton of ideas for new content as well. I've been making notes of it today, so if you want to see that, feel free to subscribe or follow me on social media, either way, because I'll be trying to post regular updates on one of the two, either here or Twitter or Instagram or whatever. So I appreciate you all for watching. If you've stuck around this long, take care of yourselves. Self-care is important, and I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later.